Okay, so I'm going to teach you today how to use this program called LoggerPro, and we're going to be using this all year, so it's important that you understand how to do the basics. So I've already started and I've added the data for the x and the y values. The x is usually the dependent variable and the y is usually the independent variable. And so here I need to now label what these variables stand for. So I need to double click on the X and it's going to open up where it says manual column options. I want to click where it says column definition and I'm going to name what the X stands for, and I'm going to say that the X stands for time. If I hit the tab key, I can go to the shortcut name and I'm going to say the shortcut is T, and we measure time in seconds in this case. I'm next going to click on the button that says Options, and here I need to click on the box that says Error Bar Calculations. This is important because this is what's going to add our error bars, our uncertainty bars. So I'm going to say that our time for that is 0.5. Next, you can see that the bars have been formed here. Then I'm going to do the same thing for Y. See, it opens in options, but I want to click first on column definition. I'm going to say Y stands for distance. Hit the tab key, put the letter D, and the units is going to be meters. I'm then going to click the options button, error bar calculations, and it's also going to be 0.5 for this case. And then I'm going to hit done. So you can see that the error bars are around our data points, but you can also see that our origin looks a little funky here. So our 0, 0 should be here. So to make that happen, I'm going to click on the 0, and it's going to say -1. I'm going to then put 0 in and hit enter. And I'm going to do the same thing again for the x-axis. So now I have my origin at 0, 0. And this makes sense because this is my y-intercept. And my y-intercept is saying that in 0 time, 0 seconds, I have traveled 0 distance. And so we didn't want that number to be up here because I couldn't have traveled instantaneously because I'm not an electron. So the next thing we need to figure out is what is our best fit line. So on this button right here called Curve Fit, I'm going to click on that. And it's going to list a bunch of different equations here, and we always want to start with the simplest equation and then get more complicated, and we want to go with the simplest equation that fits our data points the best that it can. So here we're going to start with proportional. I'm going to hit try fit, and as you can see, the line goes through all the center of my data points, and that's really good. I'm just going to click one more and look at linear. And you can see it also goes through my data points, but I'm going to go with proportional because it's the simplest and that one fits. And I'm going to hit OK. Now you can see then it's going to give me some information. If it's hard to see, I'm going to double click on here, hit appearance, and I'm going to make the text just a little bigger so everybody can read it. And you can see that now it's giving me this equation, D equals A times T. And it's saying that A stands for 2. So what that means is if I want to know how far I've gone in 5 seconds, I can say that A is 2 and T is 5. So 2 times 5 equals 10. So how far I would have gone would be 10 meters. I can also use the graph to figure that information out. So I'm going to go up to Analyze. I'm going to go to Interpolate. And it's going to create a cursor on this line. And I'm going to drag the cursor all the way up till the time in the upper left-hand corner says 5 seconds. Right about there. And you can see that the distance reads 10 meters. Now, since this is kind of off my scale, I can go over and click on 10, and I'm going to change that to 20. So I get a larger scale, and I can move this over here so that it's not in my way. Now let's say I want to add a new data set so I can compare data. I'm going to go up to the button data here. I'm going to say new data set. My time, I'm going to enter the same, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. But my distance is now going to start at 0, then go to 3, 6, 9, 12. So as you can see, nothing has formed on the graph, and we need to make that happen. So I'm going to go to where on the y-axis where it says y dot dot dot. I'm going to click on more. And you can see it says dataset 2 with the arrow to the side. I'm going to make that arrow go downwards, and I'm going to highlight the box of distance and hit OK. Now we also need to go back to curve fit. I'm going to click on dataset 2, and I'm going to try the proportional fit. That looks pretty good. I'm going to try linear just in case. That looks pretty good too, so I'm going to stick with proportional because it's simpler. And this is going to give me another equation. I'm going to double click on that. I'm going to make it a little bit larger so that we can read it. And this is going to give me an equation also. You can see it's the same equation, but our A values are different. Here it says 3, here it says 2. You can also see that as I drag the cursor back and forth, it compares the two lines to one another. So we can go back to 5 seconds, right there. And so in 5 seconds, the first line went 10 meters and the second line went 15 meters. Well, if I want to label what these lines stand for, I can go up to Dataset and just click on it twice, and I'll say this is Mr. Bob's run. And over here, I'll say that this is my run. So now we can compare the difference between his run and my run. So those are some basic things that you can use LoggerPro for. And as we use this program more and more, it's going to get a little bit more complicated, but I just wanted to give you a basic understanding of how it works. Thanks.